In this lecture, we will discuss about the first function, govern, and categories and subcategories under it. In earlier CSF version, govern was a category. However, it was upgraded to the function from CSF 2.0. As we discussed earlier, I generally remember functions as zip, DRR. G stands for govern. First function is govern. First, let us understand which categories fall under the govern function. Here we have total 6 categories. First category is organizational context. It requires that organization's mission, stakeholders' expectations, and legal requirements are used for cybersecurity risk management. We will discuss in detail how to implement the same in our next slide. Also, you will find code after each category and subcategory. First two character represents here function. So GV stands for govern. Next two character represents category. OC here represents organizational context. Second category is risk management strategy. It requires that risk decisions are based on priorities and appetite of the organization. Don't worry, we will simplify this in our subsequent slide when we will understand how to implement this. Third category is about roles, responsibilities, and authorities. It requires that cybersecurity roles, responsibilities, and authorities are defined and communicated to the relevant stakeholders. Fourth category is about policy, which requires that organizational cybersecurity policy is established, communicated, and enforced. Fifth category is about oversight. It requires that outcomes of risk management activities, that is the result of risk management activities, are used to improve and adjust the strategy. Last category is about supply chain risk management. Supply chain here indicates suppliers, customers, partners, etc. So this category requires that cybersecurity supply chain risk management processes are identified, established, managed, monitored, and improved. We will discuss in detail how to implement all the categories in our subsequent slides. Let us now discuss about the first category, that is organizational context. It has total 5 subcategories. We will discuss in detail how to implement each one of these. First subcategory requires that organizational mission is understood and informs cybersecurity risk management. To implement this, what you need to do is to write down a clear vision and mission statements about cybersecurity risk management. Confused? No need to worry. To support your implementation, we have provided ready-made templates. You can download the same from resource section of Udemy. Refer clause 6 of template 1, that is cybersecurity policy, to understand how a vision and mission statement is drafted. You may like to use the same template and modify according to your organizational requirement. Second subcategory requires internal and external stakeholders are understood and their needs and expectation with respect to cybersecurity are understood and considered. So this is very simple. What you need to do is identify the internal and external stakeholders and write down their expectations in terms of cybersecurity. You may like to refer clause 7 of our template cybersecurity policy to understand who can be your stakeholders and what can be their requirement. You may like to use the same template and modify according to your requirement. Third subcategory requires legal regulatory and contractual requirements with respect to cybersecurity are understood and managed. This is very simple. What you need to do is to find out which security and privacy laws apply to your organization and keep records of how your organization complies with this legal requirement. You may like to refer clause 26 of our template cybersecurity policy to understand how to monitor the legal requirement. Fourth subcategory requires that critical services that is expected from your organization are understood and communicated. That means that your critical services or products on which your customers are dependent. To implement this, what you need to do is to make a list of all the services, assets, business processes that are critical from business impact perspective. And second point, document business continuity plan for above identified critical services. Now let us understand fifth subcategory, which says that services that the organization depends on are understood and communicated. So here it is about your dependency on services and the products of the suppliers or service provider. So category 4 is about customers' dependency on you, and subcategory 5 is about your dependency on supplier. To implement this, make a list of all critical services your organization relies on from outside sources. Document business continuity plan for above identified critical services. Communicate and train the key employees on critical services and their continuity plan. Now, to implement subcategory 4 and 5, you can simply refer our template number 7. You can use the same template and modify according to your requirement. That's all for this lecture. In our next lecture, we will discuss about the second subcategory, that is risk management strategy. Thanks for watching.
If you like this video and want to have complete access to our CSF 2.0 course, please do check the link available at the description.